And we're back. Hello everyone and welcome back to Lorehold. I'm the host here of the channel. My name is Nathaniel and we're bringing you guys another video today talking about Secrets of Strixhaven. This is the magic set that we're getting after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but we have gotten a good bit of reveals and drops about what's in the set, and we want to talk about those specifically the commander decks. So we're going to jump into all that stuff. Before we get into the video, we will quickly say, if you want to support the channel, a like, comment, subscribe, any and all of it is greatly appreciated. Lorehold has been growing a lot from its very small beginnings and its very small continuings, but you guys have done so much for the channel, so thank you guys for being so awesome. Let's talk about some Strixhaven. So obviously Strixhaven is going to release April 24th. It is after we get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're heading back to the 5 colleges, the magic school, the kind of Harry Potter, if you will, of the magic world. And we get a couple of looks here at some different cards. Obviously, things here are pretty interesting. You know, we have like Lorehold, the Historian. So this is a 5-mana dragon, flying haste. Each instant and sorcery card in your hand has Miracle 2. That's pretty cool. You gotta love seeing Miracle come back. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. That's going to be a solid commander. Mathemagics. I love the name of this card. 2X and 2 blue. Target player draws 2 to the X cards, which I think is just awesome because you have to know your exponent rules. But I do love that they tell you all of them up to 2 to the 5th. So unless you're in some sort of infinite or high mana situation, you're covering most of what this card's going to get cast for. Typically, this is going to be... well, okay, I shouldn't say typically, because Commander's its own game. From a limited perspective, this card's probably going to be cast as 4 mana draw 2, which isn't great, or 6 mana draw 4, which is pretty solid. If you ever get to cast this for anything higher than that, it's obviously very worth it, in my opinion. You know, obviously like 8 mana draw 8, or even 10 mana draw 16. But you could see scenarios where you have a ton of mana in a commander and you end up getting to cast this with like X equals 8. And so then you're at 2 to the 8th, which would be, let's see, 256, I think. And yeah, the math teacher, I should hopefully know that. Hopefully I did that right. But anyways, and then we're seeing some reprints because we are going to get another bonus sheet. So that's super exciting. And we are seeing some alternate art here as well. Okay, so moving on from that, we obviously have the play boosters. They are going to have 3 different pack designs, and they are actually going to come with 3 different colors this time, which I think is really interesting. We get a look at the collector boosters, which obviously are going to include what collector boosters typically include. Just know that we have like almost never bought collector boosters because Lorehold is 1, made up of a bunch of recently graduated college students, me and Ashley, and 2, though we are now working adults, we do also both teach and make not that great of an income. So collector boosters are not exactly high on the list of affordability. Draft Night box, which honestly, these have been interesting. You're paying a lot for the 1 collector booster, and I honestly wish it almost didn't come with that because they're relatively highly sought after and their prices are hiking because of the collector booster. But, you know, we've been seeing them for the last couple sets. No surprise that that's still coming. The regular bundle, this is one of Lorehold's go-to. We like to get a bundle just because, 1, it comes with a good bit of packs, so you get a feel for the set, although I play enough limited that most sets I get a feel for the set anyways. And I do like having the box because that's how we store our magic cards, and instead of having to write names on, like, you know, regular cardboard boxes, we get the designed boxes that already say which set it is. There's a codex bundle, which is really interesting here, stuffed with all the extra credit any student could want. It includes 2 collector boosters, 6 play boosters, and then, okay, so this is basically the collector bundle or whatever they used to call that. And then, this is the big one. So remember Tarkir Dragonstorm, we got our 5 commander decks. We are getting 5 commander decks for Secrets of Strixhaven. And I'm actually really excited. I love commander decks. If you guys don't already know, we have a whole playlist where you guys can go see us unbox commander decks. We own like 50 of them here at Lorehold, and we're pretty much going to buy all of them going forward. There might be a few that we skip, but just know, like, we consistently buy the commander decks. We really love pre-con level commander magic. So here it says, obviously, dive into the most popular multiplayer format, and we're going to break down the 5 actual decks. So here we have Silverquill Influence. Weaponize your words with Silverquill standout Killian, who encourages the rest of the table to attack targets that aren't you. Tap, goad, and control creatures and savor the mayhem. Now, if you don't know, I don't know if all of these are the case, but if you don't know, I know this one particularly is in reference to one of the 5 commander decks that we got the last time we went to Strixhaven. And of course, they're all tied to one of the 5 schools of magic that are here at Strixhaven. So that is why we're seeing the 2 colors, because that's what they're based off of. And of course, this one is Orzhov. Moving on from that, we do have the commanders, and we'll come back to them in a little bit. Actually, while I'm talking about it, let's just go look at the commanders. So this one, hopefully you guys can see this well. Cool. Killian, Decisive Mentor. Now in his graduate studies, Killian has found a new calling and a mentorship role to Silverquill students. However, his cutting remarks haven't lost their edge when it comes to protecting those in trouble. And it says, 3 mana, 2/3, whenever an enchantment you control enters, tap up to 1 target creature and goad it. Whenever 1 or more creatures that are enchanted by an aura you control attack, draw a card. Pretty cool. So you're going to be casting auras on your own. Also, he just looks sick. But you're going to be casting auras on your own creatures, causing you to goad other creatures. So they're attacking each other while you're freeing yourself up to attack your opponents. Really unique build. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it sounds really cool. I like goad, and I also like seeing goad in colors it's not usually in. We see it a lot in red, and now we're seeing it in Orzhov, and that's pretty neat. All right, moving on. We have Prismari Artistry. Let your creativity run wild with Rutha as your artist in residence, and cast expensive, bombastic spells. Bigger spells let you generate bigger elementals, so pull out all the stops. So obviously we're going to be casting spells. Spellslinger, that makes sense. Is it? And then it sounds like we're going to be getting probably like XX elementals or something like that. Well, we don't have to guess because we do have our commanders. So let's take a look here. 2, a blue and a red. It says Rutha mastering the moment. Rutha is a passionate artist obsessed with reaching perfection. She's even delayed her own graduation until she can finish her thesis, a project that has plagued her for years. So we have an Orc Sorcerer, 4 mana, 3/4. At the beginning, oh, look at that, I said XX Elemental, and I'm already seeing it. At the beginning of combat, if you've cast an instant or sorcery this turn, create an XX blue and red elemental creature token with flying and haste, that's substantial, where X is the greatest mana value among instants and sorcery spells you've cast this turn. Very unique, going to be very fun. It's kind of in an is it spell slinging, but the spell slinging builds your board, which is going to be a lot of fun. Again, very pretty art here, so very excited. If you guys can't tell, I love, like I said, we love Commander Precons. I love when they do the nice thematic 5. I honestly feel like as long as they're only doing like 10 to 12 a year, I'm happy to buy the ones that are coming out. And I do like it when we see something thematic. You know, Tarkir Dragonstorm had the 5 clans, so give me the 5 Precons. We have the 5 schools of magic, so give me the 5 Precons. I really love it. I'm very excited for it. So let's keep looking at the next ones. We have Witherbloom Pestilence. There's trouble brewing when Dinah, I don't know. I'm going to go with Dinah, leads your Witherbloom forces. So prepare the pests for sacrifice. Sacrifices grant life, cards, and stackable counters so you can crush the competition. Let's take a look at that commander now. Dinah, not 100% sure, Essence Brewer, is a tea-obsessed dryad knowing hundreds of recipes for potions, charms, and spells. She's found solace in a social life and mentorship, committing herself to deepening the roots in her community. 3 mana, 2/3. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Thank goodness that was so broken if it wasn't. 2 tap, sacrifice another creature, so she also is a outlet for that. You gain X life and put X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the sacrificed creature's power. So you sacrifice creatures, gain life for it, buff other creatures for it, and the first time you do that every turn, you draw a card. Pretty cool, and obviously you can do other ways to sacrifice creatures to draw cards, and you can have other things that draw you cards when you sacrifice a creature. So this seems like a really fun deck. Again, very pretty art. I do like that they're doing this full art for the commanders. I think it's pretty neat. And as always, I'm very excited for these decks. I haven't read one yet that I'm not excited for. I think they're doing the colors justice. They're doing the Magic School justice. So let's keep going. Lorehold Spirit. Set out on a Lorehold expedition with Quandrix. Create spirits when cards leave your graveyard. Then pile on typal spirit bonuses and buffs to bury your opponents. If this is actually a spirit deck. I'm very excited for that. Because like a spirit themed deck. Because right now we have the spirit one from, oh, what's it called? Oh goodness, Crimson Vow, Innistrad Crimson Vow, and that's like the go-to spirit commander. Now obviously that's white and blue, that's Azorius, so you know it's a different spirit type deck. That's still going to be the Azorius commander for spirits, but it'd be really cool to see another one. All right, so let's take a look at the commander for this one. This one was the first one, so let's take a look at it. We have 4 mana, 5 loyalty Planeswalker. Obviously, Quandrix History Chaser can be your commander. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, you create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Pay 1, or not pay 1, plus 1 loyalty. You may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards, then mill a card. Minus 4 loyalty, spirits you control gain double strike and vigilance until end of turn. So it sounds like it's going to be straight up a spirit deck. This obviously works really interesting with the other Quandrix cards that we have. And I think it's going to be really unique to see like Boros Spirit Graveyard. This is, I mean, again, I like seeing unique stuff. We have a Planeswalker as a commander, so that's going to be a standout from the 5 because I don't think any of the other ones are Planeswalkers. And yeah, again, super cool. Doing a relatively unique Boros thing. I'm glad we're not getting, Boros artifacts again. I'm glad we're not getting... well, I haven't actually read the Simic one, but hopefully it's not just Simic Landfall. White-black Sacrifice. We're getting white-black Enchantment Goad. That's awesome. I mean, the Spellslinger one's probably the most common, or even Golgari. But regardless, we're doing our best. All right, Simic, here we go. Quandrix Unlimited. Now, obviously, we just got a Zimone deck in Duskmourn, which was not that long ago. I think that was at the end of last year, right? Or was that 2 years ago? No, it was 2 years ago because we just ended a year. It's 2026 now, so it was 2 years ago. But still. Anyways, it wasn't that long ago. I still feel like that Zimone deck is really recent. It obviously looked very similar, so keep that in mind. We had a Simic deck there that was also Zimone. Formulate the equation for victory with Zimone as your constant variable. Cast X spells for +1/+1 counters and ever-increasing discounts, supercharging your brainy brawling. Let's take a look at what the commander actually does. Boom. All right, 1 and a Simic Zimone Infinite Analyst, Zimone Mathematical Prodigy, and Heroic Survivor of Duskmourn. There we go. Is determined to crack the mysteries of the Omen Paths. To avert a new disaster, she put her mind to the test and created multiple copies of herself. So, 3 mana, 0/4. The first spell you cast with X in its mana cost each turn costs 1 less to cast for each +1/+1 counter on Zimone. Pretty neat. Whenever you cast your first spell with X in its mana cost each turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Zimone. Very unique. Simic obviously already has +1/+1 counters, although Mono Green probably does it a little stronger. And Simic definitely has cast big spells, and we typically see Simic, or at least Simic colors, in the decks that want X spells. Think Hydras or even just X spells, because that's also a thing. But generally speaking, I still feel like this is pretty unique. You're discounting your X spells, which of course discounts are huge in X spells because they just continue to be beneficial. It's not like if you're discounting by 20, that matters for an X spell because X can now be 20. And I think this works really well with that card we saw earlier for the drawing. That's really neat as well. And of course, this also enables it. Now, I will say a lot of people get a bit frustrated when they see cards that just kind of enable themselves as commanders. I do think this one gets a bit of a pass because it doesn't just have the and then draw a card effect that a lot of commanders have now. But I also think this is fun. I think it's a fun take on Simic. I think it does it a little bit differently. It does it a little better, in my opinion, than just Landfall. Although to be fair, the Landfall one from before was Landfall and flipping cards over. So there's a little bit of difference there. But yeah, and then of course we do have pre-release packs. It looks like they are doing the themed pre-release packs. So we're getting 1 per School of Magic here, which of course is going to be really cool. Once we've seen the full set, there will obviously be people that have opinions on which one is the best one to get. And depending on how your place does pre-release, I'm not sure I love it unless it's random. But just putting that out there, they are looking to do that again. And that's what's coming out for Strixhaven. I know a little bit longer than maybe I thought the video was going to be, but honestly, we're coming in at a pretty good amount of time. But yeah, 5 commander decks. I was a little shocked when I saw it. I shouldn't have been because we had 5 last Strixhaven. I wasn't playing back then, but we had 5 last Strixhaven. And I think, again, if they're doing this once a year where they do 5 sets, I like that it's going to be, or 5 commander decks, I like that it's going to be thematic to the set, that set has 5 of whatever it is. So we saw that with Tarkir, we're seeing it with Strixhaven. I hope they continue doing it going forward. Now, obviously, if you haven't caught it already, we do, or we will, not exactly sure what order these are coming out in, have a video talking about the Marvel commander decks, but we do know we're getting 4 for that set. Now, we're only getting 1 for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so we'll see how much we get in the end of the year, but just know we're already starting to rack up the amount of them. That's what we have to say. We want to know what your opinions are down in the comments below. We talked about a couple different types of products that's coming out, and we talked about the 5 commander decks. We'd love to know your opinions on anything and everything Magic. Let us know what we got right. Let us know what we got wrong. Just talk in the comments if you want. Join the Discord if you want. We'd love to have you in there. And as always, we'll end with one more thank you for supporting Rollsicle. It really does matter, and you guys make all of this worth it and super cool and have been supporting us and getting us all the way to where we are. At time of recording, we are at 400 subscribers, and I can't even believe I'm saying that. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys in whatever comes next, but until then, may those rolls be ever in your favor, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye, y'all.